Welcome to another episode of the Runners Roundtable. We're in season 6. We are exploring beyond pace, favorite running memory, and it is definitely turning out to be probably my favorite season thus far because I am very fortunate to talk to some pretty great people about their favorite running memories, and I get to relive those memories with them. And in this episode, I'm joined with, I can never remember that. But either way, Sharon Boon is here with me, and she's been on the podcast before, so it's nice to have you back. And the first question I have for you is, can you reintroduce yourself to us and tell us what has running been like for you over the past 2-3 years since you were last on the podcast?
I'm Sharon Boon. I am the owner of Amber Moon Studio near Austin, Texas. I've been in fitness for 35 years now. I do a lot of different things, and I've been coaching since I've been certified as a coach since 2011, triathlon and then running. Also a licensed massage therapist, Pilates, Vina yoga, personal trainer. So lots of ways to help people.
Yeah, there's been I remember, I wrote it down where you're almost like a movement specialist
Yes.
because of the variety of things that you do. And I'm curious, how does it all make sense for you? Because I teach yoga and running, like those are my two
Mhm.
passions, running and yoga.
Right.
And I know how those two fit together for me, but I'm curious for you as someone who has your hands in so many different modalities, and we're adding like the massage therapy to it as
Right.
well. How does all of that fit together, or how do you feel all those movements live harmoniously with one another?
For me, it's all about giving me more visual, more understanding of how the body moves and how the body doesn't move.
Mm,
Like we have an injury, what happens? And they may be a running client, but I can look at it from the massage point of view and understand that these are the connections that I need to deal with on these clients, and maybe they needed these drills before they get started running to help counter that over time or that day. So yeah, so I recently had one of my runners come in, and she was having her lateral knee pain that we all have gotten at some point. Okay, so we're going to do rolling out quads, IT bands, the 45-degree angles, and then we're going to do a little bit of glute engagement with hip opening. And she's like, "Oh, that feels so much better." So if I didn't have all of that background, how do you see it, and how do you come and put it together really quickly? Um,
yeah, and that's it. Like every athlete is a puzzle, right?
mhm.
All of us in general, all of us are puzzles, and we have like these little pieces, and it's kind of figuring out how does everything fit together so
Right.
that we can move well. I recently discovered, not discovered, but I rediscovered Pilates on the Reformer,
Oh,
and
beautiful.
I've enjoyed it. So the last time I took a Pilates on a reformer class was over a decade ago. And I am very sensitive to motion. So I get
Mhm.
motion sickness very easily. Like I can't even go on a boat. It's like I
Mm.
like walking on a bridge that's over a water, like
Oh,
feeling it
wow.
move. Yeah, it's pretty. And that for me was after pregnancy. Before pregnancy, none of that stuff existed. But I think just pregnancy maybe knocked things out of alignment for me.
Mhm.
Um, so I always thought, oh, I don't like Pilates on the reformer. No, because again, the last time I took one, I was nauseous and I had the worst headache after taking that class. And I'm like, I'm not gonna do that again. And I recently went to a studio because the class was called Stretch. And I'm like, oh, stretch on a reformer. I can do that. Like, that's not, and I go to the class, and afterwards, I'm like texting my husband. I'm like, I feel like I was catfished because that was not a stretching class. Like I actually did stuff on the machine, but it they call it stretch because it's a slower paced
Right. You really work
Pilates.
the range of motion and different emphasis than traditional Pilates.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh. So I mean, now I go back every single week because I'm like, wait a minute, I do like this.
Yes.
But
Yes.
it's kind of that reminder of not every teacher is going to teach the same way. Like
Mhm.
you can't judge one experience within a movement modality as reflective of all of them. And I think
Right.
that's why a lot of people probably don't try things like
Hmm.
yoga or Pilates because maybe they've had one experience or they have this expectation in their
Or
mind of
they
what it
don't
is.
run because their hips always hurt, or their hip flexors get tight, or their knees hurt, and no one's ever said, "Okay, let's look at this and see." So yeah. So yeah, I've even got walkers in my running group now. So I'm like, this is great. I want you to walk and I want you to walk better.
Yeah.
So that it doesn't bother your knees because that's her issue, the one that just joined us. And it's like, okay, we got this. No, we're going to change how you walk so that it's more productive.
Yeah. And so that you feel good in your body, right? Like I think,
Right.
I mean, I always say it, running is hard, and I think it's always hard. However, when I finish running, I always feel better because I
Yeah.
feel stronger. I feel empowered. I feel it's not so much what's going on physically in my body, but it's
Right.
the mental effects of I did something that I knew was hard and I accomplished that. And that no one can take that away from me.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So you asked at the beginning of the intro, how's the life been the last 2 to 3 years? So I think last time I was done with my two knee replacements, and I was healing from that. And then July of 24, I fell on my bike and I had to end up in being PT for my rotator cuff. And then March, it's like it's hurting again. So I had rotator cuff surgery. And when it's your dominant arm, it was worse, more limiting than the knee replacements.
Wow.
Because so I can't hold on for balance with this hand, and I'm not sure I trust this one enough to do it. Uh,
Right.
so I was getting out of that, and I was finally starting to run again, and then I dropped a 10-pound dumbbell on my foot and broke it. Yeah. So again, slowly getting out of that, starting to add running back in. So it kind of fits in perfectly, like the memories and the mindset of what defines me as a runner. And the one thing I found, even with both of these, is like I want to get back to running.
Yeah.
I can swim, I can bike, yeah, but I want to get back to running. And I've done my best races on only running 2 days a week, even with the knees. I'm nowhere as fast as I used to be, but I figure I got that 10-year mark now also to go back to, right? In 10 years, I'll be where I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been really interesting to see that transition of, okay, how do I get back to running? So my PTs are great. They know that I know a lot more than the average person. So we're progressing me in different ways probably than they might someone else. So it's been really interesting and fun in that sense, but I'm done with injuries. Even my middle school kids that I coach running, they're like, you don't need any more surgeries or hurt injuries. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't. I'm good.
You're like, no, we're just slowly rebuilding the body at this point.
Yeah.
Shoulder, knees,
Well,
foot.
yeah, so I'm having to get the knees back to ready to run. I have to get the foot ready to run. I've got to make sure the shoulders stay strong. And it's just like doing a lot more strength training and less cardio right now than I'm used to. And it's kind of like, okay, I'm used to this and I got to totally shift my mindset because I really need the strength training and probably going to have to keep that up. So how
Yeah,
do I rest from there and still do all the cardio that I want to do to be able to be a triathlete?
right.
So yeah, been a crazy
Yeah.
year.
Yeah. And I think there's the seasonality of running, right? And
Hmm.
there's
Hmm.
the acceptance of the things that you can't control
Right.
and doing what you can. Like one of my sayings is you control what you can control
Oh,
and you prepare for what you cannot control. Right.
yes.
So it's like you can't control what happened to your foot, but you can prepare how you rehab from that and then how you
Right.
get back into your sport, which then becomes very helpful for you because you know so much about the body and about different
Hmm.
movement modalities. So you can still be a runner without necessarily doing the running, but you can do
Right.
everything that's going to help you come back to running,
Right.
which is a nice parallel for, again, the theme of this season is
Right.
beyond pace. And it is
Exactly.
about exploring what are those memories that remind us that running is greater than perhaps your PRs, or that running is a greater experience than this injury or this setback. So,
Yeah.
can you share with us what's your favorite running memory?
There are so many. But the one I picked kind of goes with this theme. And I've done this is one of my favorite races as well. And I've done this race twice. So I had a neck injury back in 2015. I'm active, not accident prone. And this was my first race back from that. And then also after the knee replacements, it was my first race back.
Hmm.
So it's a great race. I love hills, so it is a hill run for sure. But so after and they both two kind of correlate because they're post injuries, right?
Yeah.
So after the neck injury, I broke my toe and ended up with a neck injury. So this was 2013. So the race was probably 2015. Um, And when you come back from a neck injury, so I couldn't do anything too intense from the neck injury. So it took a while to get everything caught back up. So even if I would go run lightly, my lungs were like, oh my God, I have to retrain the lungs now.
Yeah.
Uh, so that race, what I remember about that one was I had done it the previous year, I'd not done it well. But this was really my first official race back that everything's feeling good after the neck injury. And I had done a lot of training leading up to it on my 2 days a week of running. And my long run is actually a long walk. It's been that way for years. And I remember just feeling it was fun. And that's what it was. This is a race that's out in the country. So we got going, and there were cows running along beside us. A whole herd of them just, they saw us running. We're going to go run with them. It was amazing. It was fun. Um, and this is a course that you go out and it's pretty much uphill, and then you turn around and you go all the way downhill. And that race, it was just fun. Just because I love hills, it's that you're out in nature, it's in the country, there's animals running, and that's really um, that's the love of running. Right. That's what takes you beyond pace. It's like, I'm just out here doing what I love. And I was with a team at that time at the Austin Y Tri. And so we had a lot of runners there. And I actually podiumed. And when they called my name to go up to the podium, I think I was third in my age group. My whole team erupted, cheering and everything. Even the announcer's like, you brought your buddies with you. And I'm like, yeah, I did. And really, that was what made that race so memorable, is that it was the team as well. Yeah, I'm enjoying my individual run, but I'm also there with this amazing group of people. And that was so good in so many ways.
So that was, you said 2015?
That might have been 2015, 16, somewhere around there.
Yeah. What was the distance of the race?
That was a 10K for me. So they had a
I,
10K and a half marathon. They've also added now a 5K
and
into
it's outside of Austin or
it's
in the
outside of
Austin area?
Austin. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's the Spicewood. Spicewood
Okay.
Vineyards.
So it's a 10K run where you're going up a hill. As a
Mhm.
Miami person, Miami, Florida, I'm like, that does not sound like fun at all.
I'm
That
crazy,
actually
but I love hills. We hashtag everything hills for breakfast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I maybe if I lived elsewhere, like I know whenever I travel and run outside of Miami, I'm always like, I'm at a disadvantage because I'm used to everything being flat. And our hills here are bridges or overpasses. It's not anything natural. So
Right.
to hear you say it was fun, it was a 10K that just went up and then you came down. I mean, I think I would enjoy the coming down part. So it's to me it's always funny when I talk to other people and they're like, I love hills, or I have this, or when I go outside and I have a very hilly route, and I'm like, that's great. I go outside and I'm like -2 feet, right? Like that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm curious because first of all, I love that it's a 10K distance because
Mm-hmm.
that is not a distance that gets raced often.
I
Or
actually
do you?
prefer the 10K I found. 10
Okay.
sounds a little too long for me, and 5K is not quite long enough.
Do you
So
have a lot of 10Ks in your area?
I go find them. So yes,
Okay.
yes, we don't
Okay.
have in Taylor proper. We have one 10K in January. Um, Other interesting kind of with this pace. So I power walked it the first time I did it, and I won overall masters. So again, I'm a runner, but I'm power walking. So that was before I had the knees replaced the year before. So yeah, but yeah, I have to go away from Taylor to get a 10K, but there's
Okay. Yeah, that's why I'm like, it's a 10K is such a unique distance. And sometimes I feel like your 10K is really just two 5K routes, right? Like you're just doing two loops of the 5K. So it's not,
Mhm.
I mean, it's okay, but it's also just doesn't feel like a race. So I want to go back, right? Because
Mhm.
this is your first race after an injury.
Mhm.
Did you have any hesitations or any concerns going into that race that you can remember?
No, I felt ready for it. It's just always a question of being like, how am I gonna meet my goals? How am I gonna do? I'm not really gonna run with the watch. I think I had the old fashioned Timex sports watch, didn't even track pace. I just clicked it every time I passed the mile marker, see how I did. I think the goal was just to go see what I could do. So not really hesitations. When I did the race again after the knee replacements, that was a little bit more, I'm not sure what I can do because again, that was my first 10K back. And that one was actually a run walk with purpose and intention. So that one was totally different. And I'm still working with the run walk pattern since I'm still there.
Yeah,
Um,
I love a run walk. It makes me happy. It makes me feel like I can accomplish anything when I just have to
mhm.
focus on an interval versus thinking about my brain. Just if I think I have to run 10 miles, that feels more overwhelming than just saying, okay, go out and do your run walk intervals until you get 10. Like it just, it
Yeah.
bite sizes it and it
Hmm.
makes it feel manageable.
Yeah.
So I love that. I'm curious when you're thinking of this race and just in general, right? You've had to
Mhm.
come back from injury multiple
Significant
times.
injuries, yes.
Yeah, multiple times. And I'd like to know, how have your injuries helped you grow as an athlete and also as someone who works with people who will inevitably get injured, right? Because
Hmm.
that's what I don't even know what the statistic is for runners, but just a good chunk of people are going to get injured. So I'm curious, how have your injuries shaped you as a runner and informed how you coach others?
Well, it's definitely made me more knowledgeable about all the areas that I've injured. And I also understand the potential for injury in those areas. And so with my athletes, I really work on, okay, we're going to work on this. They may not know why, but it's probably past injury related.
Hmm.
Like right at the moment, we're working on a lot of lateral ankle stability work because we don't do that in running. We go forward. But what
Yeah.
happens if you have to do this, right? So
Or
we're going
even
to
just
work on this.
sometimes when your ankle gives out, like it's
Yeah.
happened to me, my ankle will give out, and I'm like, crap,
Okay.
okay, let me
Yeah.
pay a little more attention to what's going on in my body.
Yeah. I would say from the neck injury, what's your posture while you're running? We end up in what we refer to as shrimp pose.
Hmm.
So shrimp pose. So where's your head? Where are your shoulders? What's happening to the rib cage? Are your ribs popping? Or are they pulled down like they're supposed to and connected? Do you have space for the breath to really expand? Um, from the knee injuries, are you a running from the legs or are you running from the hips? And how do we get you to run from the hips so that the bigger muscles do the work as opposed to putting the strain on the knees?
Yeah.
So I'm sure my athletes are like, why are we doing this again? And I'm like, well, there's a reason. Um, and then even like with the foot recently, it's like, okay, so running is balance, right? Because you're on that foot for a very brief time and it has to support you. So how do we bring more balance work into like our warm-ups? And I do a lot of one-legged drills and balance work and even feet work. What about your feet strength? Do you do short foot on your own? How are we really opening up the big toe so you have the flexibility to be able to follow through? I'm getting more details into that. And yeah, it just informs everything, that ability to look at a person like where in the chain are they off? So it just makes me better, better, and better on different layers.
Yeah. And I would assume it's also helped you personally tune
Oh
more
yeah.
into your body and to
Hmm.
understand the cues of your body and how your body is taking up space in the
Hmm.
ways that you're moving because it's not, and I guess maybe what I want to ask is, have you had any fear around movement because of the injuries? Because sometimes people will get, for instance, the runner's knee.
Right.
And then there's almost this fear and hesitation of getting back into running because there is that fear of getting re-injured.
There is definitely an awareness. I wouldn't call it fear on my part. Okay, there's an awareness of this is what's happened in the past. And if I go back to that pattern of doing things, it's going to happen again, right?
Yeah.
So, what do I need to change to do it? So, I've actually even started doing mobility work when I get up in the morning. I
Hmm.
was doing stretches, then I started a mobility program. Okay, let's see how this goes. And like with the foot, the right foot, when I dropped the dumbbell on it, it affected my left hip, which affected the left knee. That whole chain of stuff. So
Yeah.
I was originally stretching the left hip and spine a lot more, and then adding the mobility in, and just like everything's starting to move like it's supposed to.
Right.
That's why I think I'm going to have to keep doing that in some form or fashion, as well as the strength training and combining those two. So I have strength through a full range of motion, which a lot of us don't do.
Hmm.
Um, and really being able to expand upon that and see, okay, so what am I feeling? What do I need? What's that connection that needs to be addressed? So there's definitely fear, but there's also, on my part at least, definitely a better understanding of what needs to be done and how everything is connected. So
Yeah. The body's amazing. And it's always, I think I marvel at the body because you'll have someone say, "Oh, my ankle hurts." And it's not even the ankle, it's your calf or it's something higher up
the
in the
hamstring, it's
chain.
the hip, it's the low back.
It's
People
something
are like,
else.
what? It's just
Yeah.
your ankle is the symptom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the thing that's showing up because it's just that's where it's going to be easier to show up, but it's not
Yeah.
that. I want to go back to this idea of having fun on the run because for some of us, it is difficult to have fun on the run because we're very focused on metric based goals, whether it is, getting a PR or doing a particular distance or, beating last year's time, even if it's not a PR. So, how do you incorporate, whether it's for yourself or with your athletes, a more expansive idea of having fun as a runner?
Part of it I think is education. Um, the one thing I've done recently is we did partner 400s.
Hmm.
So one partner would run and the other one would get to rest while the other one's running. And they actually loved that. It was so much fun. They got to work with each other and they got to challenge themselves, and they got paired with someone that was roughly the same time as them. So we actually had a good pairing system on that one. Just mixing it up, giving it variety, taking it off the track.
Hmm.
They may not like hills, but then, how do you distract them while they're doing hills? So fun things like that. Letting them have some freedom. Some of the kids, middle school especially, they just want to chat the whole time. And like, okay, there's a time to chat, and then there's a time to focus. So let them have fun when they're focusing. I try to give them some options. Okay, we have an option of this or this today, so they get a little bit of chance to pick. Um, with the kids, I've taken them onto trails, and they seem to really enjoy that. So again, mixing up the scenery. Um, uh, The other thing I would say, it's fun for me, I'm a geek, is really tuning into how does the body feel? And can I make it easier? Can I make it less effortful while keeping everything the same? What happens if I control the breath more? What happens if I hot potato my feet? Um, we're pick little things and like, what, let me work on this and see how that changes how I'm running. And oh, that makes a big difference. And again, learning about what you're doing.
It's
I'm a
almost
geek.
like, yeah, I was going to say it's almost like tuning into the nuances of the body, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and even one of the things I love to do when I'm on a run, and sometimes it happens when I'm bored or when I'm struggling,
Right.
but I'll do a body scan of
Yeah.
just like, okay, so how is everything feeling? And most of the time, if I'm not feeling great, my body feels heavy when
Mm-hmm.
I'm running. And it's just because it's what you said. I start to do this and like just I start dumping down. And that
Yes.
body scan is that opportunity for me to just go through, okay, what are my shoulders doing? All right, let's, pull the shoulders back, lift the heart up, and just what are my knees? Am I driving my knee? Can I push off my foot? Things like that help kind of break up the monotony of running
Mm-hmm.
because running can get very monotonous, but it can it can be fun. And I love that you said changing the environment because that is a huge one. Change your scenery, even
Mm-hmm.
the memory that you shared, even just talking about having different people who are part of your community at that race. And so it's like changing scenery, running with different people, checking in with your people, right? Like they're
Mm-hmm.
getting other people involved in your running is definitely going to be a great way to get more excitement around the runs and
Mm-hmm.
to remember that you're not by yourself. Even though running can feel like a solo sport oftentimes, you're never
Right.
really by yourself.
Mm-hmm. Other thing you might add into like long runs, because they just, again, they get the monotony, it's do some sprint interval training sets.
Yeah.
So 20 seconds hard, 10 seconds easy, do 10 of those, break it up in the middle, and people seem to love that.
Yeah.
I haven't been able to do that with the knees and the shoulder and the foot yet, but I'm not there yet. So, but that's another option, mix it up a little bit, even though your intention is that long run and zone two.
Mhm.
Let's do some sprint intervals in the middle. Let's do some strides. Oh, maybe there's a short hill I can repeat. So
Yeah. Change the scenery. Go for
change
that
the scenery.
bridge. Go for
Yeah.
that hill.
Yeah.
All right. If you could go back in time
Mhm.
and speak to your younger runner self, what would you say?
I would probably say one, less is more.
Mhm.
And I would probably teach myself how to pace much earlier.
Can you say more about that?
Because a lot of us, when we run, we go run as hard as we can, and we're
Hmm.
not on pace. This is why we have Garmin's these days, right? To keep us on pace. But learning how to sit back and enjoy the easy, so that the hard becomes hard. We all tend to go toward the easy is not easy enough and the hard is not hard enough. So going into really learning to separate those early.
Mm.
And then, like I said, go have fun. Change up the scenery. I remember when I was in high school, I pretty much had that same route because of the neighborhood we lived in, right? So it's like, okay, how do you mix that up? Um, and go different directions and make it more exciting versus just going and running.
Yeah, I
So
think it's an interesting thing being a runner because in many ways we are creatures of habit. Like
yes.
I even think of something as simple as the shorts that I wear for my long runs. It's the same pair of shorts every single week. Every single week. Same pair of shorts and
They
same
work.
sports bra. Yeah,
Yeah.
every single week. Like there's maybe I'll change the top and the hat, but it's those two things never change. And even the route that I run for the most part, like it's it's what I feel comfortable with. And it's also I'm like, I don't have to think about it. I know like there's something very comforting about knowing, oh, here are the markers. I know that when I get to this point, I'm halfway through my run and I'm almost
Mhm.
home. But it's also those are the things that again add to the monotony of running.
Right. So I'd say
So
they're definitely good in the comfort, right? But maybe
yeah,
intentionally once a month you go take it to a different location.
yeah.
So that way you have your comfort. That way you have your challenge.
I have my security blanket as a runner.
Exactly.
That's so
We all
funny.
have our favorite race outfits too. So I'm okay with you having the same outfit on your long runs. They don't chafe. That's the important thing there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. And when it does chafe, because I've had that where I'll chafe and I'm like, man, what did I do differently? And it's
Uh-huh.
just, because the body is different every single day. And the experience of being in my body is also different every single
Hmm.
day. So
Yeah.
um I love the enjoy the easy. I wrote that down and put a little heart next to that because
Enjoy easy.
it's very easy to I I think it's for a lot of people, and maybe just for myself, where it's very easy to dismiss the easy
Hmm.
and not enjoy it and just be like, well, either, oh, it was whatever, or it didn't really matter because it was easy, right? It
Whatever.
wasn't the hard stuff. And it's yet, those are the building blocks.
Right. And the people that say what you just said, it doesn't matter. Those are the ones I find don't succeed
Yeah.
because for them, it doesn't matter. They're just there to do something and they don't, if they want to perform, there needs to be that separation.
Yeah.
And that's part of it. So, like I said, my longs are typically a long walk. It's a power walk, but it's a long walk. If you think about the intensity of that, but that still gives me the ability to go do a 10K and only I run my quality runs, the main set, not the warm up, not the cool down.
Hmm.
That's my running these days. So
Yeah.
even right now with my running, I'm building back up. I think I did a mile finally the other day, but I was enjoying the easy. And it's like, this is kind of nice. I can really focus on the technique and how does the technique affect my heart rate, affect my pace, and all this fun. So I get to play with that. But it's really nice to be able to say, oh, this is my easy. Because for now, I just need to run. I don't necessarily need to do the hard stuff. My foot's not ready for it yet. My knees aren't
Yeah.
ready for it yet. The rest of me's not there yet. So I'm enjoying the easy. And then eventually I'll transition to being able to do those as my quality runs. So,
It's so funny because I tell my athletes all the time where I'm like, enjoy things being chill, right? Enjoy
mhm.
that we're pulling back because there's going to come a day where we're pushing forward and you're going to miss the days when it was easier or when it wasn't as much. So that's why I'm like, oh, enjoy the easy because that does prepare you for the hard. And
Right.
it does. It's just another aspect of training that you look forward to, right? If I
Mhm.
know that I have a hard workout today and then there's an easy run tomorrow, it's like, okay,
I got this. I got
I
this.
got
Yeah.
this. Absolutely.
And with my new club, I really had to work on teaching them about the easy. I was like, oh, I can go run my 10-minute pace for my easy. I'm like, that's not an easy. And then everybody's trying to stay with this two group, three group of people. I'm like, no, that's not your easy. You're back here.
Yeah.
Trying to get them to understand that. So I actually did an endurance test with them based on heart rate, and that was really educational for them and to see their light bulbs go off. So again, that could be something fun is to throw in these various tests that educate. This is what easy should feel like. And if you can't keep your heart rate down here, then your easy's not easy.
Yeah. What you're telling yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of flip it,
Okay.
what hopes do you have for your future runner self?
For my future runner self, I want to keep enjoying it. And I also want to be listening to my body because, I have knee replacements and whatnot. So I'm like, okay, how long do I get to run before I kind of really have to transition to walking? And then how can I maximize my running life before I have to do that? Which is one reason I'm also only doing 2 days a week. And it's maybe 2 miles worth of running, and I can still run a 10K when I need to. So that's my future running is just enjoying, getting back to having fun.
How did you come to a place mentally where you could embrace that? Because as we grow in the sport, age in the sport, experience expands in the sport, I feel like people can either continue doing what they're doing, they try to do more, or they learn to do less.
I think it was really with the knees. Doc and I had a conversation about that. And at the point where I went in first to see him, he's like, I normally have to talk most triathletes down from running. And I was already walking for a year. But the mindset was I want to get back to running because I enjoy it,
Hmm.
not because I have to, because I bike, because I swim, because I do have a rower and I love the rower too. Like I have all these things I enjoy doing. I can spread the love, but I want just a little bit of running for that joy.
Yeah.
Because I have done it since high school. And it's a part of me. So I'm getting to the point that I'm really enjoying power walking as well. And I'm getting better at the speed walking. So that's helping me balance out the need for running. So I think the cross training aspect has been helpful. But I think it was the conversation with the doc. And then, most people with bad or replacements, he says don't run. But like we agreed I could do a 10K on occasion. He was okay with that. Just no more marathons or half marathons. I really didn't care about anyway. So
Well, it's the evolution of movement,
right,
right? And it's understanding that being a runner, there is no minimum criteria for that,
right.
right?
Exactly. Even
There
when I
is,
was walking, only walking, I was a runner.
yeah.
Yeah. And I found I'm actually, when I run right now, I feel much stronger as a runner than I did before the shoulder
Hmm.
and the foot break, even coming back from both knees. So it's really interesting to see how all of that plays. So all of this is making me better at the running
Yeah.
to be able to do all this cross training. And I think that that's one thing that a lot of people don't understand. And I've got several of my new club here that they're like, oh, well, what if we tried multi-sport? And I think that they will understand how it benefits their running. And I think that they're going to see the joy in different modalities.
Oh, yeah. I mean, for me, that's why I love running and yoga, right? Like those two
Mhm.
modalities. For me, it's the running is the linear movement and
Mhm.
yoga is the lateral movement. So
Yeah.
it's running is very repetitive. You're here. And in
Mhm.
yoga, it's just
You're
you're
everywhere.
opening, you're everywhere. And there's such a nice complement to one another. And the
Mhm.
Pilates too, like I feel like just moving your body through its entire range of motion feels really good. And
Does.
it does help you be a stronger runner, not only physically, but also just mentally, right?
Mhm.
When you're doing a different movement modality and you're really struggling, I know for me, I always have a lot of the tools that I use in running come up in everything else. So in running, I
Mhm.
do a lot of counting. In
Mhm.
running, I count my steps. Like that's kind of something that's just one of my mental tricks to help me get through a run. And when I'm doing other workouts where it's really challenging, I'm the same. I'm counting my steps, I'm counting my breath, I am counting
Mhm.
something. So like the trick that gets me through my runs also
Yes.
helps me get through other things, which is
Mhm.
really interesting. So yeah, I mean, listen, if everyone listening to this could just be curious about moving their body in a different way, I think we'd have a lot just happier people
Yeah.
out in the world,
A lot less injuries
a
because
lot less
part of
injuries.
it. Yeah.
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 Okay, I have three more questions for
Okay.
you as we start to wind down. This question is, how do you celebrate yourself as a runner?
That's a good question.
It's my favorite question this season.
Yeah. How do I celebrate? I, with everything we've just said, I make time to run
Mm,
because of that joy.
mm,
And that's what I get from it. And that's how I celebrate myself as a runner, is I give myself permission
mm.
to do it.
That just it gives me heart feelings. It gives me heart feelings because it's like what we've talked about, right? It's so easy to
Mhm.
take the movement for granted and to
Yeah,
just not realize how special it is to have a body that is healthy enough to do it. So that
right.
just it makes me so happy. All
Hmm.
right, Sharon, where can we find you and how can we further connect with you?
My website is ambermoonstudio.com. And So there's the email on there that has links for my social media on there, Facebook and Instagram. That would probably be the easiest ways.
All right. Final question is,
Okay.
what are your final words for us?
Remember why you're running. Ask yourself that. And then embrace the joy of it, as we've talked about this whole thing, this whole session. And give yourself a little bit of grace. There are people out there that know more information than you. Go talk to them if you need. Get some inspiration if you need. Get some more knowledge if you need. And look at injuries as a learning tool, not a setback.
Sharon, thank you so much
Oh,
for
you're
joining
welcome.
us, for leaving us with those final words. Everyone, we'll see you next time.
Right.
Bye.
Bye.